The moment you try to rest, pay attention. If your partner gets angry, shames you, or calls you lazy, you're not in a relationship. You're in an extraction system. Because anyone who attacks your rest is terrified of what you'll realize once you no longer exhausted. Picture this. It's Sunday morning. You just came off a brutal week. 60 hours on the clock. Every fire put out. Every bill paid. Every responsibility handled. You finally sit down on the couch, turn on the game, crack a beer. 5 minutes pass. Then it happens. That sigh? That look? That unmistakable tone? Must be nice to relax while I'm doing everything. You weren't even settled into your rest before your peace was framed as wrongdoing. Let me explain something most men eventually experience, but rarely articulate. Some women genuinely struggle with seeing a man at ease. Your relaxation doesn't register as earned recovery. It triggers something deeper, something instinctive, and it has nothing to do with fairness, balance, or equality. It's not logical. It's visceral. You sleep in on Saturday after working overtime all week, and suddenly pots are being slammed in the kitchen. You watch YouTube for 20 minutes, and out of nowhere there are a dozen urgent tasks that somehow can wait. You take a nap, and the vacuum turns on directly outside the bedroom. It's never really about what needs to be done. It's about the fact that you aren't doing anything. I once worked with a man whose wife literally monitored his downtime. If he sat for more than 15 minutes, she would invent something for him to handle. Trash that could wait. Errands that weren't time-sensitive. Projects that didn't exist moments earlier. He worked construction, hard labor, physical exhaustion every single day. But half an hour on the couch was unacceptable. She worked part-time retail, yet somehow his rest was still the issue. That's when the subtle insults start sliding out. Real men don't need naps. My ex never sat around like this. I guess you're too tired to be a man today. These aren't offhand comments. They're targeted strikes. Some partners know exactly where male insecurity lives and how to press it. They associate rest with weakness and use shame to get you moving again. This is where the equality narrative quietly falls apart. The same people who talk endlessly about dismantling gender roles suddenly get uncomfortable when men step into spaces traditionally coded as feminine. Yoga class? Strange. Spa day? Suspicious. Sleeping in and enjoying brunch? Questionable masculinity. The equality they want is selective. You can share the burdens, but not the benefits. In some minds, rest belongs to women. Self-care, relaxation, slowing down. These are framed as things women deserve after emotional labor. But men? Men are supposed to be engines. Always running, always producing, always building. When you shut down, even briefly, it feels like you're crossing into territory that doesn't belong to you. Some women need men to stay productive because productivity signals masculine energy. The driven man, the builder, the achiever, that man feels safe to them. The resting man creates anxiety. Is he losing his edge? Is he getting soft? Is he still the protector I depend on? Your calm threatens the story they rely on for security, that you are an unstoppable force who handles everything without pause. Listen closely to the socially acceptable explanations they offer. I just want us to be productive together. Translation: your stillness makes me uncomfortable. You're wasting your potential. Translation: your rest unsettles me. We have so much to do. Translation: I need you busy so I feel secure. Your laziness affects the family. Translation: your peace disrupts my need for control. One client told me his girlfriend called his Sunday golf games selfish and immature. This man paid every bill, handled all maintenance, managed investments. For hours of golf per week was apparently excessive freedom. When he pointed out her daily 3-hour phone calls with friends, that was different. She was maintaining relationships. His recreation was waste. Hers was work. The underlying motive is control over a man's time, attention, and energy. A busy man is a manageable man. Predictable, directed, contained. A resting man might think. He might question. He might realize he doesn't need to stay on this treadmill forever. Some partners require men to stay exhausted because exhausted men don't leave. They don't challenge. They don't renegotiate the dynamic. Here's a test I give men. Ask your partner this hypothetical question. If I won the lottery tomorrow and never had to work again, would you be happy if I spent my days relaxing? Watch the reaction. Most men assume their partner would be thrilled. No financial stress. Total security. But many women respond with discomfort or even panic. You just do nothing? What about goals? What about purpose? Money was never the issue. Your freedom was. Some women don't actually want financial success if it means men use it on themselves. They want resources, but only when those resources flow toward them. You earn money to support the family? Excellent. You earn money to buy that boat you always wanted? Selfish. You earn enough to retire early and enjoy hobbies? Threatening. The money is only acceptable if it passes through them. I've observed women who prefer a man with less money if it means he's more occupied. A wealthy man with time is dangerous. He might develop interests, build a life that doesn't revolve around her. A struggling man working 2 jobs? He's too tired to question anything, too busy to have options, too exhausted to leave. Literature captures this pattern perfectly. In The Fountainhead, Dominique attempts to destroy Howard Rourke because she can't control his independence. Some relationships mirror this dynamic. They would rather reduce your power than lose influence over you. Your full potential threatens their central position in your life. The sweet spot theory is real. Some women want men in a very specific zone. Successful but not independent, strong but not self-directed, capable but not autonomous. Like a trained horse, powerful, useful, but ultimately restrained. Step outside that zone by resting too much or becoming too self-sufficient, and anxiety surfaces. The partners who haven't truly earned the relationship feel the most threatened by male rest. When someone knows they're replaceable, they need you distracted, tired, and constantly occupied. Your exhaustion becomes their security. Your peace becomes their risk. High-quality partners see rest differently. They understand that a rested man is a better partner, a better father, a better provider. They see recovery as an investment, not a loss. But certain individuals interpret every minute you relax as a minute stolen from them. Guilt, shame, and moral pressure become tools. A good man would be fixing something right now. A caring husband would spend all his free time with family. A responsible father would be working extra hours. Notice something. In this framework, rest is never moral. You're either producing or you're failing. Eventually, men internalize this. You can't sit still without feeling lazy. You can't enjoy a hobby without guilt. You can't rest without anxiety. She doesn't even need to say anything anymore. You've become your own enforcer. When men get sick or injured, some partners treat it as an inconvenience rather than concern. I counseled a man who broke his leg on the job. His wife's first response wasn't, "Are you okay?" It was, "How long until you can work again?" He wasn't a person. He was a machine that malfunctioned. Some individuals believe constant pressure toughens men up. Rest makes you soft. Comfort makes you weak. Peace makes you complacent. They frame themselves as motivators, but all they're really doing is exhausting you into compliance. That isn't strength. It's numbness. Cultural conditioning teaches people that men exist to provide, build, protect, never stop, never rest. So when a man is still, it triggers deep discomfort. He's not performing his role, which means she doesn't feel secure in hers. The man becomes a resource instead of a human being. You're not someone who enjoys fishing. You're an income generator wasting time on water. You're not someone who enjoys gaming. You're a security system misusing energy. Your humanity gets reduced to your utility, and rest reduces utility. For some partners, a man's independence becomes competition. Not other women, but your interests. Your motorcycle isn't just a bike, it's a rival. Your gym time isn't self-care, it's attention stolen from her. Your rest isn't recovery, it's rejection. I knew a couple where the woman systematically eliminated every hobby the man had. Gym was too expensive. Gaming was childish. Sports took too much time. Reading was antisocial. Within 2 years, his only activity was serving her needs. When he finally left, she was shocked. But I gave him everything. No, she took everything, including his right to rest. High-value women understand that male rest is not waste. They know a rested man is more creative, more present, more healthy. They encourage hobbies because fulfilled men make better partners. They protect your downtime because they understand its worth. Low-value partners rely on emotional manipulation to prevent male rest. Tears when you plan golf. Fights before a guy's night. Emergencies that appear the moment you relax. Chaos becomes a strategy. Because if you're calm, you might think. And if you think, you might leave. The performative busyness is exhausting to watch. Constant motion. Endless tasks. Not because things actually need doing, but because rest must be framed as impossible. Closets get reorganized. Clean rooms get cleaned again. Projects are created out of thin air, all to sustain one narrative. There is no time for peace. The double standard here is impossible to ignore. Her book club is framed as vital social bonding. Your poker night is labeled as avoiding responsibility. Her spa day is self-care. Your fishing trip is abandonment. Her Netflix binge is decompression. Your video game session is addiction. The rules are asymmetrical. Her rest is protected. Yours is suspicious, because her relaxation feels earned, while yours feels threatening. Some women grow up absorbing the idea that men don't truly suffer. Men are strong. Men are resilient. Men don't need comfort. So when you say you're exhausted, it doesn't register as real exhaustion. When you're stressed, it's dismissed as normal. When you need rest, it's reframed as a flaw. Not a human need, a weakness to be corrected. This mindset poisons relationships. In it, love is measured through suffering. The more drained you are, the more you must care. The more you sacrifice your health, the more devoted you appear. Rest becomes betrayal because, in this broken equation, pain equals love. I worked with a man whose wife kept an actual tally of his lazy moments. Every time he sat down, it was noted. Every nap was logged. Every moment of peace became future ammunition. He worked 2 jobs, yet 20 minutes on the couch was treated like criminal evidence. The masculine energy argument is especially manipulative. I need you to be a man, and men don't rest. Notice who defines what being a man means. Conveniently, it always aligns with serving her needs. Real masculinity includes boundaries, recovery, and self-respect. But that version doesn't benefit people who rely on your depletion. Often, male rest becomes the target of projection. She can't relax, so you're not allowed to. Her inner chaos makes your calm feel like judgment. Her anxiety around productivity turns your stillness into a threat. Your rest becomes a mirror reflecting her inability to slow down. The fear of male self-actualization is very real. A rested man might realize he's unhappy. A man with time might start asking uncomfortable questions. A man with energy might actually change his life. Some partners need you exhausted so you never evaluate whether the relationship truly serves you. The provider robot programming runs deep. You're expected to function like an automated system. Input labor, output resources. Robots don't require care. When they need maintenance, they're defective. When they slow down, they're broken. When they require recovery, they've failed their purpose. Children are sometimes weaponized against male rest. How can you relax when the kids need you? But notice, the kids were fine, safe, cared for. The accusation wasn't about them. It was about claiming moral superiority to attack your peace. Suddenly, your rest becomes bad parenting. The pattern repeats every weekend. Friday night, you think you'll finally recover. Saturday morning, there's a list. Sunday afternoon, there's a crisis. By Monday, you're more depleted than before. The weekend isn't for recovery. It's unpaid labor in a different location. Your job never ends. It just moves. Men are starting to notice this and protect their peace. Setting boundaries. Taking rest seriously. Refusing to feel guilty for recovery. And some partners are panicking because exhausted men are easy to control, but rested men have options. You're depressed. Gaslighting when men rest is especially insidious. You're not depressed. You're tired. You're not withdrawing. You're recovering. You're not avoiding life. You're conserving energy for what matters. But pathologizing rest gives them authority to demand constant motion. Some individuals fear male hobbies because hobbies create identity outside the relationship. A man with passions has purpose beyond provision. A man with interests has value beyond utility. A man with hobbies has a life that doesn't require approval, and that independence terrifies those who rely on dependence. The retirement test exposes everything. Ask men what happened when they mentioned early retirement. Most don't hear relief, they hear panic. You can't just do nothing. But why not? Bills are paid. Kids are grown. Responsibilities fulfilled. Why can't a man rest? Because it was never about money. It was about control. The male rest is selfish. Narrative ignores decades of sacrifice. Years of physical wear. Deferred dreams. Ignored pain. Yet 30 minutes on the couch is labeled selfish. The audacity is staggering when men account for the majority of workplace deaths, longer hours, earlier mortality. That's gaslighting at its finest. Some women even compete through their partner's exhaustion. My husband works 80 hours a week, becomes a badge of honor rather than a tragedy. A depleted provider brings sympathy, validation, and social currency. But something is changing. The male rest revolution has begun. Men are choosing balance over maximum income, health over status, peace over endless provision. And certain systems are panicking because rested men are harder to exploit. The lazy husband stereotype persists despite reality. Data shows men work more total hours when paid and unpaid labor are combined. They commute longer, work more dangerous jobs, retire later, and die younger. Yet 1 hour of TV makes him lazy, while 3 hours of scrolling is decompression. Some partners sabotage male rest through manufactured drama. Every quiet moment becomes a crisis. Every attempt at calm triggers conflict. Chaos becomes control. Because if you're constantly firefighting, you never question who's lighting the fires. The health consequences of never resting are severe. Heart disease, stroke, mental collapse. Men are literally dying from exhaustion. Yet symptoms are dismissed as weakness. Chest pain minimized. Anxiety mocked. Fatigue ignored. I counseled a man who hadn't had a full day of rest in 5 years. Not one. There was always something urgent. Always a crisis. When he finally took 1 day for himself, his wife filed for divorce, citing abandonment. 1 day in 5 years. Men aging faster isn't a mystery. They're worked to death, stressed to death, exhausted to death, while being told rest is weakness. The same people who rely on male provision wonder why their providers don't live long. Some women truly don't understand that men need rest because they've been taught men are machines. Machines don't recover. They run until they break, then get replaced. Male rest looks abnormal instead of necessary. The emotional labor argument collapses here. Emotional exhaustion deserves rest. Fair enough. But physical labor doesn't. Mental pressure doesn't. Financial responsibility doesn't. Only their exhaustion counts. Yours is just what men do. The "I wish I could rest like you" manipulation is subtle and effective. She could rest. She chooses not to. She manufactures tasks, creates urgency, exhausts herself, then uses that self-inflicted fatigue to attack your legitimate rest. You aren't preventing her recovery. She's preventing hers to block yours. Some partners need constant motion because stillness requires intimacy. If you're always busy, you never have hard conversations. Never evaluate the relationship. Motion becomes avoidance disguised as productivity. The "you can rest when you're dead" mentality is killing men. And some partners enforce it through guilt and shame. They'd rather have a dead provider than a living, resting partner. Men need to understand this clearly. Your rest is not negotiable. It isn't laziness. It isn't selfishness. It's survival. Anyone who resents your rest doesn't love you. They love what you provide. Someone who loves you wants you healthy, calm, and whole. Someone who uses you wants you depleted, manageable, and profitable. The generational pattern is breaking. Younger men are watching their fathers die early and choosing differently. They're prioritizing balance, refusing relationships that demand constant exhaustion, choosing rest, and being shamed for it. The male laziness epidemic narrative is propaganda. Men aren't becoming lazy. They're becoming aware. The wheel leads nowhere. The sacrifice isn't honored. So they're stepping off. Some women are beginning to support male rest, recognizing that well-being matters, that rest is human, not gendered. These relationships thrive. Others continue producing exhausted providers. The entitlement to male energy is breathtaking. Some people truly believe they own your time, effort, and vitality. Your rest feels like theft. Your peace feels like rebellion. That isn't partnership. It's ownership. The answer is boundaries. I will rest. That isn't negotiable. My recovery is necessary. I don't need permission to heal. Your anxiety about my rest is yours to manage. These aren't cruel statements. They're survival requirements. And when men finally prioritize rest, the improvement in quality of life is undeniable. Better health, clearer thinking, stronger relationships. But make no mistake, you'll have to defend it. Some partners will resist. They manipulate. They threaten. Your rest challenges their control, and they know it. Choose it anyway. The relationship test is simple. Does your partner defend your downtime? Or do they attack it? Do they carve out space for recovery? Or cram every moment with demands? Do they value you? Or only what you produce? The answer reveals everything: love or exploitation. Men are learning they cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot protect, provide, or love if you're depleted. Rest is not selfish. It is necessary to become the man you're meant to be. The future belongs to men who rest with intention. Men who treat recovery as part of performance. Men who refuse to be worn to death. Men who select partners that support their humanity, not just their utility. Men who understand that rest is not weakness, it is wisdom. The resistance to male rest is growing. Men are sharing the importance of downtime, supporting one another's right to recover, refusing guilt, shame, and manipulation, choosing life over endless exhaustion, choosing peace over constant provision, choosing themselves over exploitation. Some partners adapt. They learn to honor male rest. Others escalate, intensifying pressure and control. The divide is clear: relationships founded on mutual care versus those built on exploitation. Partners versus parasites. Love versus labor extraction. The clarity that comes with rest is what some fear most. A rested man thinks clearly, sees clearly, decides clearly. Your exhaustion keeps you confused, obedient, controlled. Your rest brings insight, and insight brings change. Men deserve rest, not because they've earned it through labor, not because they've bought it through provision, but because they are human. Any partner who cannot recognize this basic truth does not deserve your partnership. The shame ends now. No more guilt over a Sunday nap. No more apologizing for hobbies. No more defending your downtime. No more treating rest like a crime. You need it. You deserve it. Anyone who says otherwise is showing exactly who they are. The instruction is simple: rest. Despite the guilt trips. Despite the manipulation. Despite the shame. Rest because your life depends on it. Rest because your sanity demands it. Rest because you matter more than your productivity. Partners who love you will protect your rest like treasure. They'll safeguard your downtime, encourage your passions, celebrate your calm. They understand that your recovery is an investment in a shared future. Anyone who attacks your rest attacks your well-being. The biological reality is this: men need rest differently than women. Different stress responses, different recovery needs, different restoration patterns. Ignoring this because it's politically incorrect doesn't change the truth. Men need rest. Period. Some will scream about male privilege, laziness, selfishness. Fine. Their outrage exposes their entitlement to male depletion. Their anger reveals how dependent they are on your exhaustion. Their reactions tell you everything. The exhaustion economy is ending. Men are refusing to be worked to death for ungrateful partners. They are choosing quality of life over quantity of provision, choosing rest over riches. Those who once profited from male fatigue are panicking. Young men are learning early. Any partner who resents your rest resents your humanity. Anyone demanding constant motion doesn't see you as human. Anyone attacking your peace doesn't deserve your contribution. The test is simple. Date for 3 months. Then take a full day of complete rest. Do nothing productive. Watch closely. Do they support your recovery or attack your laziness? Their reaction reveals their true character. Men over 40 are teaching younger men through example, showing the cost of constant exhaustion, the destruction caused by never resting, the clarity gained through balance. The message is clear: don't repeat our mistakes. Rest before it's too late. The correlation between male rest and relationship satisfaction is direct. Resting men report happier partnerships. Men who never rest report misery or divorce. The pattern is undeniable. Rest is essential for healthy relationships. Some partners reading this will feel uneasy. Good. Discomfort drives change. Perhaps you'll stop attacking his peace. Perhaps you'll start honoring his recovery. Perhaps you'll choose love over labor extraction. The economic argument for male rest is undeniable. Rested men earn more, perform better, last longer. Exhausted men burn out, break down, die early. Supporting male rest is literally an investment in a shared financial future. The final truth: men who rest live longer, love better, and provide more sustainably. Men who never rest die early, bitter, broken. Choose partners who want you alive and rested, not dead and productive. I want to hear from you. What happens when you try to rest? How does your partner respond to downtime? Have you been shamed for taking care of yourself? Share your stories in the comments. Let's normalize male rest. Let's expose exhaustion exploitation. Your rest matters. Your peace matters. Anyone who says otherwise is telling you they don't care if you live or die, as long as you provide while dying.